Film, gaming, pop culture. Welcome to episode 34 of Everything is Permitted here at Wade's Comic Madness. I'm your host, Julian Brown, alongside my co-hosts, Matt Reppert and Brittany Tomes. How we doing?
Good. We got that
pretty awesome.
We got the new equipment there. It looks pretty slick. I like it.
We do. We're recording right onto it. No more need for a computer. No more need for USB mics that pick up every nook and cranny of a noise. So it's awesome.
My hands still smell like pumpkins. It's so exciting.
Mine do too. It is exciting. We were pumpkin carving before this. We're going to be taking a look at those polls if they're being voted on Facebook in just a little bit.
I'm so sorry, people. I'm so sorry. I tried. I tried my best.
Matt did try his army best, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Not too
good.
I will say, since we are doing this show on our new equipment for the very first time, that comes with some hiccups. We're trying out some new things, so we apologize in advance. Sorry, not sorry. It's pretty cool, though. Brittany got the honor of carrying what we're calling, quote unquote, the football in her car today.
It's an amazing briefcase that looks like I should be in Pulp Fiction with the MacGuffin.
Absolutely.
I thought it was going to glow when it opened up, but, it wasn't plugged in, so I didn't get any of the cool lights.
No, you didn't. That's okay, though.
It was awesome, though. I put it on the table, and I was just like, I'm going to make him an offer that he can't refuse.
Guys, we have a great show planned for you today, as always. First, we are going to be talking about, we went to Eastern State Penitentiary's Terror Behind the Walls. It was an awesome event. Matt, myself, and our good friend Rob got to go. Matt's wife, Heather, joined us as well. Brittany, unfortunately, you had a bit of an emergency, so you couldn't make it, but we're going to do a makeup date with you. Makeup. But we are going to be talking about that on this week's show. We have our very good friend, Rob Carter, here, who is also one of our campaign backers who helped us get this awesome equipment. So he'll be joining us to talk about that as well. Then later on, we're going to be doing our pumpkin carving contest. We have the Facebook vote, and we're going to vote on each other's really shittily carved pumpkins.
Both of you can go to hell. My pumpkin sucks. Yeah, at least yours is recognizable.
Hey, I liked yours. You have the spirit of a pumpkin carver. You just need to hone your skills in your hands.
Yeah. My hands are too big, I think, for the pumpkin I had.
You just need a big pumpkin.
Because I'm like,
And then after that, we will be going down. We're doing something a little bit different for our spooky Halloween stuff. Instead of talking about, like, who's got the best horror movie, who's the best horror character, we're going to be talking about horror movie costumes and what films have the best, what are iconic. And I think makeup also falls into that category as well. So we'll be getting that. Before we get into the meat and awesomeness of the show, we have to do our campaign shout-outs. A lot of you who donated did a perk where you got a personal shout-out. So for the people who helped us get this amazing new awesome equipment, we want to thank first Matt's awesome wife, Heather Reppert. We want to thank Wendy Buckland. I want to thank my brother, Jason Brown, our good friend who was on the show last week, Billy Peets, my wife, Karen Brown, my father, Royal S. Brown, who I just sent an Alfred Hitchcock action figure to. Wow. He was very excited. And then finally, also our good friend who's been on the show before, Vin Spiritoso. Now, for those of you who did the higher packages, producer credits, executive producers credits, stick around at the end of the show. From here on out, we are going to be running credits at the end of the show where you will be forever on the show. And those were recorded by the awesome Mother of Dragons, Karen Brown. What else can we say but thank you?
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. I mean, you didn't have to give, but you did, and I mean, the equipment it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome.
You guys actually pitched in to buy my soul back from the devil, so I think it worked.
These new microphones are fantastic. The soundboard is great. One of the things that we noticed immediately is that we don't hear people walking up and down in our headphones. We don't hear the D&D guys laughing, which is fine, but it's nice to have some more professional equipment to make this show just sound even better. We have some awesome sound effects, and I'm dying to press these glowy buttons here. Hopefully Brittany makes some puns, and I can actually do that.
What, like you're pressing my buttons? Driving me up the wall.
There's the first one. Just an easy little rim shot there. Boom, done. All right, guys, let's get into some rants and raves. I'm going to start with Matt.
All right, so I know I already talked to you about this, Julian, but Destiny Shadowkeep, I'm still very much enjoying the expansion. It's a blast to play. The post-story stuff is really fun. But the thing that drives me nuts about Destiny to this day is if you never played Destiny, there is a collection screen where pretty much any gun, any piece of armor you've ever gotten is collected. You can see it. And if it's an older type, you can actually pull it from your collections for like a small bit of glimmer or other stuff like that. However, the later seasons, they actually changed it to if it's a random roll piece of armor or weapon, you cannot pull it from collections.
Yeah, we were talking about this last night,
Yes.
right? I said to you, well, why not just be able to spend whatever the cost is to pull a non-random roll to get a random roll from your collections? Like, if it costs money, it's not doing any differently than getting it randomly from a drop.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
But I think the reason they don't is because they don't want somebody to just keep pulling until they get their god roll that they want so bad.
Well, and that becomes the issue because then everybody would just spend all their mats on that god roll.
Yeah, but the issue is though is that if you're not going to let me pull from collections, you need to expand the frickin' vault, which is like 500 slots. Which, like, I'm an armor collector in the game because I love how some of the armor looks. I like putting different shaders on it and just looking absolutely fabulous. But the thing is, though,
fabulous.
I know, my God, I look amazing. But the thing is, though, is that if I delete some of this armor, I can never get it again from collections because it was limited in that season that it came out, and it's gone forever. But the problem is, in order to save it, I'm taking up vault space. They haven't expanded the vault in like better part of a year now, I think.
Yeah, we're still stuck at 500, I believe.
Yeah, we're still at 500, and so I'm constantly in this battle of like deleting stuff that I can still pull from collections, but I'm kind of getting to the end of that where I'm like, all right, what do I have left? And it sucks.
I've been hunting down, I'm really glad they brought it back, the year one Crucible armor with like for Titan, with the spikes and like the fur in the back. Like, I love that set.
I was never a fan of that look,
I love that set. But loved it. Yeah, I wish you could pull some of those guns. Like, we were doing some Nightfalls yesterday, and I got the from the end of the one where you fight the Fanatic, the shotgun.
Oh yeah.
But I got like a really shitty roll on it, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna infuse one of the guns that I use regularly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Brittany's looking at us like, maybe one day I'll play Destiny.
No. I just want to relate.
I just want to relate, man.
I want to be part of the group.
I don't even have time for all the games that I already bought, and they're on my PS4.
But that is a good rant. I would agree, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. They need to do something about that, or at least be able to pull it with some kind of locked roll, if you want it.
Or like make it so that it increases every time you pull it from collections or something like that. Like, it costs you like 100 glimmer this time. It's going to cost you 200, and then and then it'll start pulling from other resources.
Yeah. So. Brittany, rant or rave?
I have a mini rant.
A mini rant.
And this goes along with just working at a comic book store. I love pull lists. I love the concept of pull lists. But for people that have pull lists and they don't come in for over a month for their pull lists, and now they have like huge, too big for the drawer, it's pushing in other people's comics and like damaging other people's comics sort of pull lists. Please, if you can't come in or if you need them put aside in a special way, like call the store and just tell them, like, hey, please stop my pull list, or, like, maybe I don't need these specific issues anymore. Or maybe they vaguely put, like, Daredevil, and they don't need all the different types, Just give a courtesy call if you can. Or if you're behind, like, financially and you can't come in or something like that, like, just let us know, and we'll put it aside in a box if we know for sure you're going to come in. Because it ends up costing comic book stores money when they constantly put things aside, especially if they're issues that, like, other people want.
And you're not paying for them.
And then they sell it, like, House of X, Power of X, I'm pretty sure people probably have things in their pool folders. Maybe they're waiting till it's all done to then buy them, but for some other people, it's like, some of those issues sold out, or maybe people really wanted to get them the first time around that wanted to read them.
Well, that's a great example.
One.
Yeah, because like there's some regular Powers and House of X's that I want of just the regular cover, but they sold out so quick that I only have the variants, and like they're hard to get until they do the second or third prints of them.
Exactly, and there's some people that probably have them in their pull list now that eventually, after a month passes or when we eventually go through them and pull them out because people haven't come in forever, we'll realize, oh, we had more of this issue, or if he's ordering more of something, or to know how much to order for the next issue that's coming out, like you do stock for that. It's just, I don't know, it's like a courtesy thing. We're starting to run out of room. It's great having people have a lot of pull lists, but when I see ones that are in there and I know this person hasn't come in, or it's been like, it's actually falling apart, the folder from how many things are in there, I'm like, at what point can we stop pulling for this person? Because it's just costing, it's like, you probably have like $50 worth of comics, if not more, in your pool folder that you're not coming in for.
I mean,
they could be on the shelves.
Could Wade like put like a time limit to say, hey, look, if you're not in like a month or 2 months or something?
I mean,
like
we're
that.
still trying to get people to pick up their auction winnings. We go through them consistently, and I call the people, and we're like, hey, by the way, you still won 2 weeks ago this specific thing. It's about this much money. Call us back if you can't, or you want us to or you changed your mind. Maybe we'll call the next person who is up for the winning. It's just, I don't know, it's a courtesy thing. No. Even if you don't want to come in person and deal with that, maybe it makes you nervous. Just give a call.
Makes you nervous,
or I don't know. Some people have anxiety out there.
They're like I'm trying to word this nicely. Some comic book readers are of the basement nerd variety and have and social anxiety.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not.
I have some social anxiety myself, but at the same time, though, is that if I commit to buy something, I'm going to
100%. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm here. I'm nice. People can call me, or they can come in when I'm specifically here, Wednesday night or Friday night, and they can be like, hey, I thought I would want this new Joker comic. I read the first one and now I'm not interested. Can you remove it from my pull list? So that way we're not continually putting it in every week. And then they're like, oh, wait, I didn't want this one. Or, I can't show up this month. Something happened. I didn't get paid, or an unexpected expense came up. So you're like, okay, cool. We can put your stuff off to the side or whatever.
Yeah. No. Buy your shit, people. Buy your shit. It's important. And
buy your shit.
Buy your shit. And as they say on Rick and Morty,
get your shit together. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love the fact that I got that soundbite for us.
I do too. I'm a big fan of it. I have a rant. We got back late last night, kind of late from.
It wasn't too bad. I've gotten back later.
I'm an old man now. I have kids. 10 is like I want to go to bed. Rob and I made some. Well, and Karen was still up. We were watching a little bit of that Jon Favreau cooking show on Netflix, which is actually really fun. It's good. It's really good. Jon Favreau is my spirit animal.
I haven't even heard of this. I'm so excited.
Look it up. It's really good. And I made some cheese plates for us, and Rob and I sipped on a little bit of scotch, and we weren't going to commit to a whole movie because it was later in the evening. You know that new Katie Sackhoff show on Netflix?
Another Life? I thought you wanted to rant about how bad that was or something.
That's the plan.
Oh.
Rob and I watched this last night, and we could not get through the first episode.
Wow.
It was that bad. And my friend Dai Lee, who lives in San Diego, put it best. They really should have just named this show Katie Sackhoff's Really Bad Day. And I agree with that. The acting was some of the worst acting I've ever seen in a TV show ever. Katie Sackhoff is the most unbelievable mom, and Katie Sackhoff is also one of my spirit animals. Mm-hmm. Come on.
I love her.
Starbuck, baby. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't love Starbuck? But it was just so bad. And you got Tyler Hoechlin, who plays Superman.
He's in there for a hot second.
He's in there. I don't know if he dies or not. He's on. I don't care. You can tell me. I'm not going to watch the show again.
He does. She kills him.
Good.
She kicks him into a beam of electricity. Yeah.
She should kill him. Who mutinies on the first fucking day of an expedition?
Well, I will say the weak part of the show is all the other side characters that just it's
millennial asshats.
It's more like they were like, how can we have a show with Katie Sackhoff, but unfortunately we need to hire other people. So they spent all their money on her, and you're just like, I get it. I would too.
But if you know Katie Sackhoff's work on TV, it's been really good. She was awesome as Starbuck on Battlestar, iconic role. She was awesome in a not as well-known show that was on A&E and then on Netflix, Longmire, which is a Western, also really, really good. And then you think, oh, Katie Sackhoff's going back to sci-fi. This is going to rock. Nope.
I think the show had potential, but every episode's a different thing. I feel like it didn't have to follow the same crew.
Yeah, they did.
It's too unbelievable the crap they go through every day, even if it skips a few.
And months. I think, someone said, it's monster of the week pretty much, and also they could just wake up from pods whoever they need for that specific episode.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
So it does hurt itself, but there's one good flashback episode that actually shows her past and what she's been through, and now you understand why she's the way she is. And that episode, she deserves a lot of praise for that because she made me cry. I was like, Katie, I am so sorry this happened.
You were also crying though during the the Harriet trailer when we went to go see Joker.
That hit me hard. I was crying. That's so moving, man. Humanity messes me up. And I'm just like, go, Harriet, go. Free the slaves. So, yeah, I was crying, and I'll admit to that.
That's
that was
fine.
like right before seeing Joker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Set
I
the
ain't
whole
even
tone.
ashamed.
No. Listen, I'm a crier, too. It's just I don't cry during trailers.
It
Shame.
hit me, man.
Or
It's the only
shame.
one that did.
I got to put that as a soundbite. We got to get the shame. Shame.
Ding.
The ding bell, yeah.
Cool,
I can
cool.
hook you up with that.
Yeah, we should do that.
Shame me.
All right, guys, if that's it for Rants and Raves, it's time for
The permitted minute.
The permitted minute.
the permitted minute. And we are going to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Joker broke the October opening weekend box office record, bringing in $93.5 million domestically, beating out Venom, which made $80.25 million. For our full Joker review, check out episode 33.
On the subject of Joker, Jared Leto, who's portrayed the clown prince of crime in the lackluster Suicide Squad, was none too happy to not be starring in the film. Guess the joke's on him?
Sticking around in the DC universe, a new poll has been conducted about Jason Todd's life on Titans. Turns out people still want poor Robin to die again.
Hamilton's Daveed Diggs will be playing everyone's favorite crab, Sebastian, in the live-action Little Mermaid film from Disney.
Doom Eternal has been delayed until 2020. There's something ironic about that.
Finally, Will Smith is developing a Fresh Prince spinoff. At least it's not a reboot. We did that in plenty of time. There wasn't a lot of news this week.
Nah, it was a quiet week.
It was
I'd
a
say.
quiet week. Yeah, we had like 15 seconds.
It was mostly
to go
just
on
like, people are still seeing Joker.
yeah, pretty
More
much
at 11.
Yeah, and shockingly, nothing has happened in any theater yet.
Ah,
Well, I did like that.
Who would have thought?
I did like
Yeah.
that meme that I read before we left your house, where it said like it was like the Hollywood Reporters, like some Oscar voter apparently said like, oh, I don't think it's right to dignify Joker with like an Oscar nod or anything like that because of its
Oh,
message.
yeah.
And then somebody
Come on.
responded and said the Best Picture winner 2 years ago is about a woman fucking a fish.
yeah.
Exactly. That's
And
right.
this one's like
That's
Eat the
right.
Rich. So no wonder Hollywood's like, do we want to back this?
Oh man.
Sit down, Thomas Wayne. I got words for that, man. I will say the third rewatch of the Joker, it just, ooh. You get tired of watching the scenes of him just being treated horribly. So you're just like, oh, the secondhand embarrassment, I can't right now. But it's always worth it for the last, like, 30 minutes of the film. You're just like, yes, do it.
Do it.
Burn the city to the ground.
I still can't like that movie was really good. It was really good. Like
I
I
want to
do
say
want
it's
to.
a feel-good film. Because by the end, I'm feeling
Wow.
real good.
I
No, by the end,
I don't know
feeling
what
real
movie
good.
you were watching, but
It's horrible. Like, I mean, it's an amazing film, but I just mean like it's
I know
it's
what you, I know
rough
what you mean.
for the
I know
first
what you mean.
2/3 of the film are rough, and then the last third you're just like, hoo, here we go.
Before we get into the meat of the episode, I do want to say I'm really excited for next week's episode. We're gonna have a lot of fun, I think, with next week's episode. I know I'm going ahead, but I think it's important to talk about. We are going to go see Zombieland 2 next week, which I'm like so excited for. So excited for.
10 years in the making, baby.
Literally 10 years in the
10
making.
years in the
Do
making.
you know that the copy of Zombieland that I own is from a Blockbuster?
Oh, I was about to say mine too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So dating Zombieland. Also, on that episode, since we're going to be talking about zombies in the first place, we're going to do our like top 10 countdown of like the best
Yes.
ever zombie anything. So zombies on episode 35.
I think depending on when we go to see the movie, my fan squad may be able to join.
Oh,
The
boy.
fam squad or the fan squad? Do you have a fan squad?
I mean,
She might have both. I
I
mean,
might
we don't.
actually. I'll ask the internet.
Yeah, who wants to join us at? And oh, by the way, if you signed up for a perk for a movie date, this might be a fun one to come to with us.
Yeah.
So contact us if you got one of those and want to come see Zombieland 2 with us. We will pay for your movie and some popcorn and a drink.
Remember, there's like 4 Oscar nominees / 2 of them won.
Yeah,
I know Emma Stone won. Who else won one?
didn't Woody win?
I thought he was a nominee. I thought it's a nominee.
Maybe 3 are nominees and then
3 are
just Emma
nominees
Stone
and
won.
one's Emma Stone's a winner and the others
You always
are
forget
nominees.
like Emma Stone's career is like she's still so young and has been in everything.
No, and that's I think I said this to Brittany a while ago is that like I was legit surprised that Emma Stone is like 30 because I thought she was like closer to my age. I
Yeah.
thought, because she feels like she's been around forever.
From McLovin to La La Land.
From McLovin to La La Land. All right.
That'll be the title of her
Or
biography.
Zombieland to La La Land. Whatever way you want to do it.
We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, Brittany's going to step aside and come back for our main segment, but she's going to step aside. Rob and I think Heather is in the building. I think Heather is going to join us as well
Yes.
to
Love
talk
her.
about Terror Behind the Walls
Yep.
at Eastern State Penitentiary. Stick around.
I put a spell on you because you're mine. You better stop the things you do.
Welcome back to the show. And Matt and I are now joined by my very good friend, Rob Carter, and Matt's awesome, amazing wife, Heather Reppert.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show. Heather, you were here to talk about Good Omens a few episodes ago. And Rob, this is your first time on the show.
It is. Thank you very much, Julian, for having me on here.
You are very welcome. We all had a hell of a good time last
did.
night
Yeah.
at Terror Behind the Walls at the very famous and historic and not so nice Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Every year they do an awesome, you can't really even call it a haunted house because it's a haunted prison. They do these awesome experiences. There's 4 different levels. It was just great. It was a blast.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, Eastern State, even if you've never been to it, it's one of those places I know that gained a lot of notoriety because if I remember correctly, there was a Ghost Hunters episode done there years ago, and it was one of the places that they legit were like, all right, we recorded stuff that we can't explain. I can't remember the details. Maybe Heather.
I'm so proud of you.
I know. But yeah, Heather loves, and that's how I even know about it is because I think she showed me the clip from that episode. So Eastern State is like supposedly notoriously haunted. It's, I mean, even without the haunted house, it's a creepy place to be.
For sure.
I mean, the prison, it was built in 1822, I
Yeah.
believe it is. And so, I mean, and it was only closed in 1971. So think about all the people that have been there, that have died there, that all the crap that has happened.
Including
Al
Al
Capone.
Capone.
Yeah.
Al Capone, whose cell is still in pristine condition there. Guys, I want to talk about, because we're going to kind of give a review of this place. And Heather, you're big into the scare factor, into horror and all that. So I do want to start with you. How was the scare factor there? I know you were a little bit nervous before. How was the scare factor and all the different attractions that we got to do?
I was honestly a little disappointed.
Okay.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Every place I've been to I mean, the scare factor is probably one of the most important thing, and I definitely had a few times where I screamed, as you all know. I don't know. It's just that every place tries to say it's family friendly,
Yeah.
and I definitely think for maybe teenagers on up, it definitely was family friendly and appropriate for them. I want a place that is more adult centered. Like truly like nasty stuff.
Yeah, like one of my biggest complaints is like one of the first things on the signs that you see is no swearing. I'm
Yeah.
like,
And
go ahead.
I think one of your friends on our post said like I've almost been kicked out a couple times because like I swore, and it's like what? Like, I mean, to me, it's like I agree with Heather. Is if you're gonna go like especially a haunted freaking prison, like go all in. Say, look, people are gonna be scared. They're gonna go, oh shit, oh fuck,
Yeah.
whatever. That's just, it's a part of the game. It is what it is. And I mean, just have fun with it. Maybe charge a little extra if you want to have like an adult only like haunted house tour, whatever you want to
Right,
call it.
and there were very few families there.
Very few. Yeah,
So
there
I'm
was-
not really sure what the point they're trying to get across for that.
yeah, we saw like one kid, right?
And he was having a great time.
Oh, was he?
Laughing.
I didn't notice him after we got in. Rob, how about you? Scare factor, the all the different attractions.
You guys had the necklaces.
We did.
We
We're going to talk about
Yes. So scare factor was pretty low, but high on the fun factor. I had such a great time the whole time there. There was a couple of jumps, a couple things like that. And for me, the scariest things were their visual effects.
that.
Right. Some of the things they had set out there, they had, these guts out on these examination tables. They had skulls popping out of them. That was scary to me a little bit. Just made me feel uneasy, which I think is part of being scared.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Yep. And also some of the environments we went into where we would have a lot of fog, You couldn't see in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Or the darkness, strobe
Darkness.
lights.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One of the things that I was talking to you about, because you were talking about some of the things that were unsettling. I feel like it was maybe like 3/4 of the way through. There was that like hanging half corpse that actually
That's
didn't
right.
look like all of the other ones. It actually looked real. And it was going, and it was like, emboweled.
I know.
Like,
I remember what you're talking about. I remember
like
seeing
that was really good. Rob, Rob and I decided to, I pulled his leg a little bit here to opt in to get the necklaces around our neck, which meant that the actors could touch us and take us off of the path and go through secret passageways. Rob, at first we didn't do it, and then we kind of saw other people doing it. It didn't seem too bad, so we decided to do it. Do you regret it, or was it totally worth it?
It made it such a much better experience. Absolutely. Part of it, when they first talked about it, they said we're going to be grabbing you, we're going to be throwing you places. But that didn't necessarily happen.
Right.
They would kind of grab you by the shoulders and say, come with me. And then they would point down to a tunnel and say, crawl through this tunnel. Or they would, especially that last part, when they kept turning us back around and around and trying to get us lost. It was just a lot more fun, I feel.
Yeah. Heather, you didn't do the necklace, but having seen Rob and I do it, I know Matt, like you're just not into touching and stuff.
I'm not like, I mean, that's just how I am. I don't like people like just jumping out and grab, because I'm not trying to sound like but I react kind of violently to that. Like that's just how I am.
No, some people are like that, and that's totally understandable. Heather, having seen us do it, if you went back, is that something you would think about doing?
100%. I kind of regret not doing it.
Well, I want to go back again, so we should definitely.
Brittany needs to go.
Yeah,
so.
we're doing a makeup date with Brittany. So, so that was a scare factor. Let's talk about the different attractions. I think we all started going through the bus that led to Lockdown.
Yeah, there was I think they were Lockdown, the Infirmary, I think, or
Yeah.
or, oh god,
Blood
Machine
Yard.
Shop.
Yeah, the Bloodyard Machine Shop and Quarantine.
Yes, I think that was it.
Heather, I'll start with you again. What was your favorite? I think it was like 6. Like there were like 4, but they had like subdivisions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It, like there were some very clear delineation as to when the next thing started, but there were times where you thought it was done, but it wasn't. It was like, as you said, it was kind of like a subsection of that attraction.
What was your favorite?
This isn't even my favorite because it's the scariest. It's just how it looked. The Quarantine with the fog and the green lasers and everything. I thought that was the coolest visually.
That was their 3D glasses?
That was part of it, yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
That really tripped me out, but I thought for me that was I think probably like the one that didn't fit in with the rest of the vibe of the place. So that was maybe like my least favorite. I really liked because it's the one that threw me off the most was the very end with the really high strobe effect. And I got taken through a secret passage, and then I got taken back to go through the whole thing again. And I thought that was really cool. I also like the one, Rob, we were talking about where there's a level of like claustrophobia where you have to go through like these tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? They were like.
It's like this blown up black thing that you go through.
Yeah.
And what was cool about it is some of those things at different kind of attractions seem like they're on the shorter end, but I was starting to wonder like, oh wow, like this is going on really long. When is it going to end?
Is that the same one with the tunnel that makes you feel like you're...
No, that I think was also part of Quarantine.
That was, yeah.
Yeah. How about you guys? What were your...
So I actually liked, I think it was in the beginning, the room where like you had like the people hanging from and there was like the strobe. I actually, one thing that they could have done to improve it is you make the strobe happen, like say every 5 seconds for like a second or two. So you can only move. So that way, like if you're in the room, like somebody could move that they know where they are. So that way for like a second or two, you can actually see. But like, I mean, but that was to me, like probably one of the best part about the whole thing. So I think that was in Lockdown. I think it was. I think
maybe
either
Lockdown or the Machine Shop.
I don't know. I can't remember, but
For me, I remember coming around a corner and they had this giant, it was about 8-foot skeleton with a large chest and it had
that
3
scared
heads
the crap
on it,
out of me.
Right? I wanted to turn back, and not because it was so alarming, but because like I wanted to go back and get a better look, just because it made me so unnerved at the time. And that was one of the few times when once it was behind me, I hurried up and went to the next section. That was towards the middle there, but the effects were really great. The strobes, to me, I feel they didn't use them well enough, like you were saying.
Yeah.
They could have had people sneak it up on you. They could have had somebody be there and then they were gone.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it was just a bit of a distraction.
Right.
And you're trying to find out where do I have to go next.
Well, I think the strobe did a really good job because listen, like I don't get seizures, and I think it's important to know like we had to sign a waiver before we got anywhere. And I'm sure that's for people who have seizures or maybe have heart conditions who might not like getting jumped at. But I thought the strobes actually were done very well, especially in, like I was mentioning in that last portion. There were that one really disorientated me.
Yeah, they were very disorienting, and if you're into that it was good. It was used effectively, and I mean there was a lot of cool stuff in this. I will give it that. Like I never am one of those people that like jumps in haunted houses or any of these tours, and as Heather can attest, I'm very much the like, and like they tried to get
You're
me
the wall.
well, no, the thing is that I don't like. I'm able to just kind of disconnect like myself from that emotion. Like,
But you're taking away from the fun. You're supposed to connect into that emotion.
I know, but like I'm always one of those like I like to be in control of myself, and I don't like to be oh god, like I don't like to be doing that.
I get it. I think you have to psych yourself out a little bit to have the most fun though. You know what I mean?
I mean, because the thing is, at the end of the day, I know they're actors. I know they're just doing their job, and that like I subscribe to I think Alfred Hitchcock's like thing of horror of the most terrifying things are the things that could happen or the things your mind fills in for you.
Okay.
That to me is like how you do horror, right? And like just people going, "Ugh!" Like you might make me go, oh God, but I'm not going to be like terrified.
I
Right.
think that's what makes the pitch black stuff so effective because
Yeah.
it's all your imagination. Like,
Yeah, and
where are
that's-
people going to
and
come
that's-
from? Oh my gosh.
I agree with that a lot for sure.
Yeah.
Guys, let's just talk about the overall vibe. Like, we found an awesome parking spot. Lucky guy right here. Lucky guy right here. Heather spotted it.
That's right.
Heather spotted it. We walk there. It's obviously like this is a prison, so it's just like these walls all around it, which is kind of like a bit strange because you're still technically in Center City, Philadelphia, and all of a sudden here's this massive prison. When we first walked in, Rob, I'll start with you. Like, what's just like the overall vibe when you first walk in all the way to when we were finished?
So what I kept having to tell myself is that the whole decrepit look to the prison, they didn't do that for this event alone. That's the way it is. It's spooky all on its own. And the history to it, it is quite a colossus building right there. Like we were driving up to it, you could see it on the little GPS. It was this massive structure right there in Philadelphia. It is surprising, and I would say I definitely want to go back and take just their historical tour. I've never been there before. I've heard about it.
It's a good tour. It really is.
And they added a couple things now, the hospital wing
and also
this
the
underground
punishment cells they
yeah.
call them that were like down in the basement. So I guess they finally opened that up.
Yeah, I've talked to people who've actually said that the actual historic tour, and I think you could even do it at night. They have like certain night ones is scarier than Terror Behind the Walls itself.
Well, because once again, that goes into your mind is now filling in the blanks. Like, okay, I just heard a noise. What is that? What was that? And so on and so forth.
Well, Heather, we got to like peek inside some of these cells too that, people were incarcerated in, and they were decrepit. And even if they were nice, like when it was first built, like they weren't nice.
Well, the idea behind it, which is kind of ironic, the idea behind it when it was first founded, it was by Quakers, and it was designed by Quakers, and the idea was rather than punishment, it was supposed to be repentance. And each cell has these
like two little skylights.
thin skylights. They can look up, at the sun. They can look up at the night sky, and that's when they're supposed to look inward at themselves. But then it just became like it was all solitary confinement.
Yeah.
So how can you repent when you're, going crazy in your own head?
I always look at Eastern State like it used to be, nice Arkham Hospital, and then it turned into Arkham Asylum. Guys, let's talk about the bang for the buck. We went on a night that when it's most pricey because we went on a Saturday night per person with fees. It was $44 a person at whatever the fees were.
It was like $5, I think, for the fee.
Yeah.
For
If you go during the week, I think it's like $24. Even on a Saturday, do we think that we got our bang for the buck?
I would say yes, we did. We were there for a good hour and a half. I was entertained the whole time, and I felt they did a good job of making sure people didn't get bunched up. There were these intentional spots where they would stop people, and then let 8 go forward. So you didn't get it. It wasn't ruined because of the mass amount of people that were there. So I feel it was worth the money, and you can tell they put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, I agree with Rob. I very much got my bang for my buck. I mean, as I said, as much as I'm not like scared of these things, I very much enjoyed it. Also, because we're of age, we did the speakeasy.
We did, yep.
Afterwards,
My favorite part.
which was honestly like it's a great, and it basically you literally can sit down in some of the old cells, have drinks, bullshit with other people. They have like live singers that will actually sing like, some old songs and things like
Whose
that.
picture I sent to my sister Danielle, and she was like, "Oh wow, that does look like me." It was a really funny coincidence.
Yeah, and literally like right there is Al Capone's cell that they redid to make it look.
Oh, so
like
they
it would've-
did redo it.
Yeah, I don't think
I
that's
thought
a-
someone said specifically
mean-
that it hasn't been touched.
I mean,
Like,
maybe that's true. I'd have to look into that myself, but I thought that they had kind of redone it and been like, "Hey, this was a cell. Let's make
Okay.
it look like." Because I mean, the prison was shut down in '71. I doubt his cell was like untouched.
Oh no,
for
that's a
decades.
good point. Yep.
But yeah, the speakeasy, if you're of age and you want to grab a drink and stuff like that, it was like $10 cover charge to
Yeah.
get in. They give you a free drink when you go in.
2 complimentary drinks. Oh no,
They
you
get
two
one-
drink
And
limit.
then the second one you have to pay for.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
and
That's
it was
right.
like $6.66 for like
Number of the beast.
Yep. So since I don't drink, Heather got
I
Heather got
my
overindulged.
second drink.
Illegal third drink.
Yeah, I still have my card right here.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
the
mine.
Oh,
I
it's
got
really
mine too.
cool.
Yeah.
Rob, you want to read what that says on the back?
So it's like a playing card for the masquerade. So I guess they have a masquerade ball May 8th and 9th in 2020. So coming up late spring. And I'll try and read the back, but they punched my card.
no.
You want to read mine? I got mine's pretty good.
Party of the year. We'll dance, we'll drink, we'll explore RSVP at www.easternstate.org dance.
So sounds like a really cool event that they have coming up there as well. Heather, I didn't get to you about the bang for the buck. Did you think it was worth it?
I thought it was totally worth it, even though I thought I wish it was a little bit more adult in the horror department. It's an experience, and it's just you have fun.
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
Yeah. I do agree. The speakeasy was a really good time. You could, like we said, Rob and I and Matt. Did you play a hand of blackjack?
I didn't.
Rob and I played some blackjack there. They had a guy,
Ouija board.
Yeah, there's a Ouija board that definitely.
You guys fail at the
Yeah, I know.
It
You
didn't
guys
work.
No one cheated and pushed the thing around. Then there are tables throughout the cell blocks and we sat like Matt said, and we just shot the shit for a good like 20, 30
Yeah,
minutes.
it was a good time.
My favorite part was the singer, like the old 20s singer.
Yeah,
I
like
loved it.
The one that looks like
flapper,
Julian.
the flapper
Flapper.
dress. Yeah. That was really cool. Before we wrap up the segment, anybody else overall thoughts, recommendations?
I think, I don't know how much it is, but I know there's like a thing with Eastern State that I think they do around this time of year where literally at dark, you're given a glow stick and like into the prison you go. And to me, that would be far more terrifying than any haunted house thing that they do. Is just, here's your one light source, have fun. Like, you get to walk around. There's certain areas you might not be allowed to go, but that's it. As I said, that to me would probably freak me out more than this haunted house and people just jumping out at me.
Yeah.
What I would like to do is go to some other haunted house at the same time. Maybe in a couple of days in a row and compare them, because I'm sure they have more adult-themed ones,
Yeah.
right? But again, fun the whole time. I've been to Connecticut. They have a famous one called their Trail of Terror. And that has more people jumping out as actors. And again, I agree with you. I don't find that as fun
Right.
as having these amazing displays and these sets basically that they put in there.
My only real comparison was Six Flags. We went to Six Flags last year.
Yeah.
It was so lame. Like, it was really for, I'd say, 12-year-olds could go, and they would be fun.
If I remember, we had like a group of like preteens in front of us. They were like, they're freaking out and doing all the preteen
and then also
stuff.
the actors would mainly go towards them because they know they'll get the most reaction
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah.
We had that group of like 4 millennials in front of us. We knew like the actors were gonna go towards them because they were like scared before they even walked in.
Yep.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
If you order ahead of time, if you want to go, there's a $5 off, I think, except on weekends in October. So you can get a discount there. I actually was going to bring some codes to give you guys, and I forgot to do that.
We can put them on
We're
the
going to put
page.
them on our Facebook and Instagram. So look for some discount codes for your visit if you decide to go to Terror Behind the Walls at Eastern State Penitentiary. Rob, Heather, thank you so much for coming on and
Thank you.
doing this segment with us.
Thanks for having me.
It was a blast. I had so much fun at Terror Behind the Walls last night. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, Brittany is going to join us. We're going to look at the Facebook results of our pumpkin carving contest, oh Lord, and then talk about some awesome horror movie costumes and makeup. That's coming up next. Stick around.
Where was London? Where was London?
Welcome back to the show, and Brittany has rejoined us, and we are going to be talking about our pumpkins that we are maybe proud of, maybe not so proud of.
Not proud.
Not so proud.
Not
I'm
proud.
proud. I'm
Brittany's
not done.
proud.
I'm not done yet, but it's a good start.
So we were looking to do something creative for this week's episode because we can't just always do, Masters of Horror, best horror movies, blah blah blah. So I think it was either Matt or Brittany first said, let's do costumes and
I did
makeup.
costumes.
Yep. And then Brittany decided to add the extra layer of, ooh, let's carve some pumpkins. And hence we went along with it.
Well, just in case, I said this when Brittany was carving her pumpkin, is basically it's like Michael Jordan's like just came up to me and said, hey man, let's have a dunking contest. And I'm like, yeah, Mike, let's do it.
I will carve pumpkins every single day of
Yeah.
my life if I was allowed to,
There
and
you
they
go.
were readily available.
Well, right now in the month of October, pumpkins are very much readily available.
And I've done my first of many, hopefully.
First of many, Cecily joined us as well. She did a little kitty cat with the help of our awesome babysitter, Shelby.
Aw.
We are going to not do the final vote now, but we are going to look at the polls as they stand as of when we recorded this. And I'm calling some bullshit
Yeah,
right
I
now.
might agree with that.
For Matt and I's pumpkins, we did the Shield logo versus Matt's Avengers logo. Matt's Avengers logo is beating my Shield logo 4-2.
To be fair, I haven't even voted yet. So
oh God.
You did vote on this one, and you voted for mine, so thank you for the support.
I can never tell if it's me or if it switches to like the actual podcast.
No,
I might vote. I might vote for Julian's pumpkin myself, just because like I tried, folks, to get the A in there, but like I probably should have had a bigger template to work with, just because, or stencil rather, just because like my pumpkin was a little too small. So like trying to get these little things in the A there, I couldn't.
well,
make it
you
happen. It
also
started
have
falling apart.
a supporter upstairs in Wayne who also voted for your pumpkin. So Wayne up working the register at Wade's voted for you as well.
Thank you, Wayne.
So I'm going to put a vote towards mine, even though it doesn't change the results right now. And then
I think you'll overtake me.
we'll see. We'll see. It is young. It is a young poll. And then we have Brittany's awesome, in my opinion, Joker pumpkin going up against our guest Rob's. He did dual-sided Batman Superman pumpkin. Right now, with 6 votes from 4-2, Rob's is beating Brittany's Joker 4-2.
He's got those clean cut logos.
He does
though.
have
People
a
love
very
clean
Yeah, I
clean
know.
cut
People
logos.
people like the cleanliness. That's what it is.
Though Brittany's Joaquin Phoenix Joker is very cool.
Which
so
was not a stencil, by the way. That was a reference image I used.
it was.
so-
It was. I'm voting for Brittany's. No offense, Rob. Sorry.
On the other side, I will have Heath Ledger, and then hopefully, if I can fit another one on the pumpkin,
Oh my God.
then it's gonna be awesome.
Just do Jack
It's gonna
Nicholson.
be it's
and
gonna be
you're
Jack
good.
Nicholson. It's gonna be all Joker all around, so it'll look cool with lights.
Those are the votes as they stand right now. These will be up for the next 6 days. We're also going to put some candles in these to see how they look with those. We're also going to vote on ours right now. The 3 of us. Matt, who's got the best pumpkin?
Between the 2 of us?
No, between the 3 of us.
I mean, that's kind of tough because I actually like Rob's clean lines.
Sorry, the
like,
4 of us. That's my bad. Between the 4 of us.
Like Rob's got the clean lines, as Brittany said. Like the Batman logo on Rob's looks fantastic.
It does.
Like,
It looks
I
really
actually
good.
Really like.
You
I'd
could
be cu-
actually shine that, and people in Gotham would know. Batman would arrive.
It's the pumpkin bat signal.
Here you go, Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon, I need you to put, if you need me, put a light in this pumpkin, and I'll be there. But I might lean to Rob just because, as I said, he's got the clean lines. And I mean, once Brittany's done hers, I might go with Brittany. But right now, I will go with Rob.
If I had to go with one right now, I still got to go with Brittany's because that is very much like I know what that is immediately. That is obviously I know what the Bat logo and Superman logo is. I'm taking points away from Rob, and he can't defend himself because he doesn't have a mic in front of him right now. But Rob originally was going to do the Hydra logo, and
There was no way that was going to
and
happen.
babied out and did the Dark Knight and Superman logos.
Yo, Rob just got robbed.
Rob did just get robbed. So I'd have to go with Brittany's Joaquin Phoenix Joker right now as things stand.
Yeah, like once everything's done and there's light in them, like that'll probably be my final decision. Where I'll be like, all right, this looks great.
Maybe we'll do that. We'll do the final votes next week. Brittany, how about you?
Time constraints stop me.
Yeah.
For now.
You're not wrong.
I also get inspired and I have like a whole idea when I make a pumpkin. So like I'm prepared. I'm one of those people that sit down. I put on like 2 Halloween movies in a row with people and I'm just like, they're like, hey, I finished mine like 30 minutes in. And I'm like, cool, I'm just still doing my outline of Captain Marvel. And then like 3 hours later, I'm finally cutting it.
The Picasso of pumpkin carving.
I don't know. It's cathartic to me. It's like washing cars.
Well, we will have the final votes on these pumpkins next week. It was fun. It was a good time. It was messy. I'm wearing my orange shorts now, apparently.
My hands still smell like pumpkin.
I think
nuts.
all of our hands still
I love
smell
the
like
smell of
pumpkin.
pumpkin in the morning.
I think Karen's going to do the pumpkin seeds. She's going to bake them with some salt and some stuff.
I will say this, though. It takes guts to carve pumpkins. So everyone's a winner.
Oh, my God.
Boo! Boo! Boo!
That's what you get for that.
It's funny hearing the sound bites like live.
Right now.
I feel so much shame.
So much shame. We're going to get that too. Shame.
Shame.
Shame. All right. Let's go right into our main segment. We are going to talk about some of the most awesome horror movie costumes, makeup in the horror industry that we've seen ever. This is a cool little segment. It's definitely unique. Kudos to Matt, as always, for coming up with some awesome ideas here. We will go in a counterclockwise circle, changing it up a little bit. Actually, no, I have Brittany on here first. I lied. So, Brittany, we'll start with you. And we'll, I think we have plenty of time. We can go around multiple times here.
Yeah.
So we're just listing some. It's not in any particular order?
No, I don't think it
Any
needs to
order.
be in particular order.
Cool. So I'll start with one of my all-time favorites, American Werewolf in London.
You
Because-
son of a bitch.
Hold on.
Oh,
Did
no.
I steal it from you?
She did.
Oh, I'm sorry. But the werewolf
you good.
transformation scene is still one of my favorite things of all time. It's still one of the best werewolf transformation scenes ever.
It's still the best,
and
I'd say.
I think it is literally the best.
'Cause
Wolfman tried, but I'm like,
Yeah.
keep your CG out of this goddamn house. So anyway, I'm all for practical effects. So anytime like any movie achieves awesome things with practical effects, I'm like,
I mean, just the build up to the whole
It is.
scene is like the
music,
bad moon rising.
actual,
So,
like, oh,
and I love the fact that about that transformation is that it seems painful. Like
Yeah.
he's screaming the
longer
entire
than you
time, and he's
remember.
just like, oh God! And you see like his hands. Oh,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Talking
Oh,
about
so
werewolf practical effects, it's not on my list, but I did forget about it. In the very first Underworld movie, they used practical effects, and it was like stilts and just really cool makeup, and then the rest of the movies they used shitty CGI. But for the first ever
I loved
Underworld,
the first Underworld.
it's a great film, and the
did that come
practical
out?
effects 99.
Okay, because I was gonna say,
I
fun
think.
fact.
It was either late '90s, early.
I saw
2000s.
that at midnight in a movie theater. It was the last movie I saw back when
I want to try
used
something
to buy
I've
one ticket
never
all
done
day.
on the show before, and I'm gonna see if this works.
What's
and
that?
if not, I'll just edit it out.
Okay.
What year did Underworld come out?
Underworld was published in 2003.
All right, so I was off by
Why
what,
does your
5
series
years?
sound British?
Because I
And why
like
did she say published?
Yeah, exactly.
Was it a
Did you
book?
refer to the book, the screenplay itself, or the film?
I have a thing for British accents,
Oh, it's okay. All my stuff's in French.
so
So
hence Siri being British. Matt, your pick.
So, Brittany took American Werewolf of London, which was my number one. I stayed away from like most of the mainstays like Jason and Michael Myers and all that stuff, just because those are low hanging fruit. But I went with Pinhead from Hellraiser.
ooh,
That was gonna be on my list, and I decided against it. But well done.
His lines. I forget the actor's name off the top of my head, but the line when he's like, "Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering." Awesome line. Like his whole persona, like. He was very talkative in the first Hellraiser, and which was like very unlike most horror movies at the time. That were just these silent mask wearing dudes. Pinhead, his look is iconic. As soon as you see him, you know that like what he is and what he's from. So,
Do you know that I've either never seen Hellraiser, or when I did, I was like super young and don't remember it.
He's repressed it.
Yeah, I recommend watching 1 and 2. After that, you can.
I really like Phantasm a lot, and that's
I haven't seen that.
Phantasm's awesome.
Makes me think of Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah. My pick is Jennifer Lopez and Vince Vaughn and Vincent, I'm going to butcher his last name, D'Onofrio in The Cell. Really crazy makeup, really awesome costumes. It was not.
I know the movie. I've never.
I
really
watched
seen
it as a kid and I enjoyed it. I've gone back and like seen the Rotten Tomato score. I don't know if it's actually a good movie. I'd have to go back and rewatch it. But the visuals are stunning because it's dealing within dreams.
Yeah, the mind of a serial killer. And
Exactly.
they're trying to find some girl or something
Yes.
that's going to be killed by this device.
And
set up.
the colors, the makeup, all of Jennifer Lopez's different costumes in this movie. It's the first thing that always sticks out to me in the horror genre as far as we're talking about like makeup and costumes go. So that's my pick. I recommend
I'll have to watch
seeing
it.
it at least once. Yeah.
Back to the Brit.
I count Alien as a horror movie
I would agree
because
with
it
that.
is. It's a horror movie in space. That's
It's
the
a-
whole
it's a
point.
science fiction
in
horror movie.
space. No one can hear you scream. So anyway, I have to go with Xenomorphs because that is a super cool costume, and like just the amount of work that's gone into that is insane.
Absolutely. I remember the actor, like the reason they hired him in the original was because he
was,
I
like,
think
it fit
lanky.
into
he was a
the
lanky,
scene.
like Nigerian
Yeah.
guy, I think. And
Really
he had
cool.
like, yeah, and he, like they said, like just watching him move, like he can move like this unnatural thing. And they're like, he's perfect.
And
for
like you
this
open
role.
one mouth and a little one shoots out. There's so many things I like about it, and it's one of those iconic. Like when I think of horror films and stuff, and you're thinking of like creature-based horror films, that's one that pops in your head, like Sigourney being like, and then the little mouth popping out like right next to her face. Oh, I want to carve that on a pumpkin. Oh, shoot, I might.
But
We're going to have so many pumpkin pictures on our page this month.
Nothing but pumpkin pics.
so my number 3 is I did.
Oh, because Brittany stole your first.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
No, but I did 5 total, so I'm all set. But anytime it's on the screen, The Thing from the first
Oh,
the Thing
yeah.
movie.
You stole one of mine.
Yeah, gotcha. But like
bumps.
the Thing, like first of all, the first time you see it in action in the dog pen
Oh, yeah.
is one of the. It is so freaking because that's when you're like, oh my god, what the hell is this thing? Well, like much like the actors, in their roles, you're just like, what the fuck is this thing? What is it doing? What? Oh my god! Because like you see the dog's head split open and everything. You see its skull. I mean, it's an amazing piece of practical effects. Like
John Carpenter is the master of horror,
Dude, I think your dog has worms.
along
You
with
should really get that checked
Wes
out.
Craven. But John Carpenter is amazing.
yeah.
I love The Thing so much. My dad showed it to me when I definitely should not have seen it. Amazing film, absolutely.
I agree.
My second pick. This is gonna be I think maybe a little controversial, but I went with Scream.
It's an
Ghostface.
iconic look.
Ghostface.
It's iconic,
It is
yeah.
super iconic. And listen, the other movies weren't anything to write home about.
No, they were
but the
not.
first Scream and that, just a ghost face mask has become our tagline of the show is film, gaming, and pop culture. Like that is a pop culture iconic everything.
Yeah.
Weather.
You know,
Sorry, I ruined it.
listen, Scream, I think is a classic. And again, Wes Craven
Yeah.
is the man. So
That's true.
yeah, Scream.
All right.
I think I'm going to go with 2 movies I want to talk about for zombie makeup in general. Like whether it's the prosthetics or like the overall look. I think Zombieland and 28 Days Later do zombies really well.
Yeah.
And like violent, like, oh my God, they're actually fast zombies. Because you can put them into different tiers and categories, which I'm sure we'll discuss next week when we discuss zombies, because that's
Damn
one
right.
of my things.
Yeah.
But I do love like the makeup that goes into those 2 films. Every time I watch it, I'm always like, wow, look at those zombies. Like they did that really well. Not even what they CG in.
Yeah, I agree with Zombieland. Actually, is like I love Zombieland. Obviously, we're going to see the second one, and people forget like how good a movie it really just
really,
was.
really
it's
is.
it's
Really is
a
good.
really good movie. So, all right. So if it's me now, so my last 2 are not from horror movies technically, but the costumes and everything and the characters are very much horror based. So I'm going to go from Pan's Labyrinth, The Pale Man.
Ooh.
I think you wrote down my two that are like what I'm going to mention also.
And if you haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth, it is a Spanish. Oh my God, it is an amazing, amazing movie. You need to like go watch it like right now. The Pale Man is that creature that's sitting at the table with all the food, and his eyes are in his hands. And the actor who I want to say the actor's name is Doug Jones. He's done like
he plays Saru on Star Trek Discovery.
He also
Isn't he also in Hellboy?
Yes, he's in
Sapien?
Hellboy, and he's
Sapien.
also
Sapien.
he was also the fish monster in The Shape of Water. Like the dude's been all over Hollywood. He's much like Andy Serkis. He probably doesn't get the recognition he
if
deserves.
you need a tall and lanky dude
Yes.
to wear a prosthetic, it's usually Doug Jones.
But watch Pan's Labyrinth if you haven't seen it, and you'll know exactly the scene I'm talking about when you get to the Pale Man, and you're going to feel so uncomfortable and freak the hell out at this creature. So,
So this is the last one I put on the list. I'm sure I could think of some on the fly, but I had to go with one of the like iconic horror movie looks. I went with Nightmare on Elm Street and the Freddy Krueger look.
Yes.
Listen, there's something creepy about a burned face, but also just like a dude in plain clothes, like that red and green sweater and his khakis and the fedora. It's just like, it's an iconic look, and I don't want to delve too deep into what happens in the movie, but his his knife hands too.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I went as Freddy Krueger when I was a kid for Halloween.
I've done Freddy
It
Krueger
is
as well.
great, and it's creepy, and he invades your dreams, and also
He invades your dreams, but also like whenever he's in that boiler room and he does this, like that is just so iconic, and just that like listen, if you want to talk about iconic looks, like Michael Myers is a William Shatner mask, right? Jason's a hockey mask. Freddy is this green sweater and his knives. Like these are iconic looks. I think Freddy does it the best in my opinion.
dude, nothing scarier than a middle-aged white man pedophile who
Exactly.
literally won't die.
Legit, 100%.
Terrifying.
I think we can go around one more.
Yeah, I got
time.
one more anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say I also went the dark fantasy route as like my suggestions of like these are also really cool costumes. So like I like that you just mentioned Pan's Labyrinth because it was up there. I don't want to take your other one because I feel like you have the other one also.
No, you can go because remember I went with a minor character from that movie, so you can.
Okay, so I want to go. Oh, true. Okay, Tim Curry in Legend. He's like literally the devil darkness.
You've never
himself.
seen Legend?
No.
What the?
Holy shit!
That is like Tom Cruise's first movie. Tim Curry in like one of his most iconic roles. Like
Is
him
it horror?
It's
Well,
dark
it's a
fantasy.
dark fantasy.
But
so like
but
if
it's
you're a kid, it's kind of like horror.
Okay.
yeah, but he literally plays like
really-
Satan.
The best thing about that movie is the costume and the makeup and just all the visual effects.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah,
The scene
how
where
have
she
you
dances
never
with the
seen
dress
How have you never seen that?
is insane.
I've never heard of it until you guys just mentioned it. Ever.
Wow, dude! I
We're
think
gonna watch it.
I think we literally can get it from like the bargain bin at Walmart. I know I've seen
Okay,
it there.
well,
I
we
might
should-
already own it.
Yeah,
Well, there you
Brittany
go.
probably already owns it. Yeah, Tim Curry in Legend. Like, I'm not even gonna spoil it. Like,
We're not.
you can just watch it. But so I'm also gonna go from Legend because Brittany and I talked about this before. But there is a minor character that appears in the movie, and you're not gonna know the bit of trivia, unfortunately. But the character's name,
thanks, pal.
The character's name is Meg Mucklebones. Like you think it's Knucklebones, but it's Mucklebones. Apparently, she is this creature that comes from the swamp, and the effects, the makeup on, and it's not a woman that plays Meg, it's a man, which funny enough is played by Robert Picardo.
Oh, I love Robert Picardo.
Yeah, that was his
I'm a doctor, not a doorstop.
that was his first role, was playing Meg Mucklebones in the movie Legend, from what I understand. And Meg is this creepy hag from the swamp, and she's like, "Oh, you think me beautiful, Jack?" And she like has these long claws, and she's like scratching on his shield a little bit, and you hear the sound of the metal. And like Meg is completely creepy, and like she is like just an amazing, and it's once again much like Tim Curry in the movie. It's just like you're just blown away by the artistry of these costumes and the makeup.
Well, now I have to see Legend.
You absolutely do.
Yep,
You absolutely do.
I will do that. I'm just gonna put just a quick honorable mention. I'm not really going to talk about it. And one of the movies that still just scares the fuck out of me because all of the costumes are like what you would expect, and that's Event Horizon because of Sam Neill's makeup at the end with no eyes, and just like that movie, just thinking about it still scares the fuck out of me to this day. So Event Horizon is my final pick. That's also going to do it for episode 34. We will be back next week with our zombie, let's just call it the zombie special, right? Zombieland 2, all the zombies we could possibly talk about. That's going to do it. For Matt, Brittany, I'm Julian. Have a good night.
You can find Everything is Permitted on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Everything is Permitted is produced by Rob Migliaccio, Nikki Veazey, and Geneva Stein-Shivers. Our executive producers are Michael Cox, Brittany Tomes and the Tomes family, and Julian Brown.